When the Apple M3s came out in 2023, I was so curious as to why people love Apple computers so much. So despite a lifetime of loyalty to Windows, I said fudge it, I bought one, I completely switched over and tried that world for a while. And you know what? It was great. MacBooks are fantastic. Here's the thing, working on a laptop is great, but sometimes you need a big old monitor and keyboard to really get things done. I bought a cheap monitor and keyboard and just plugged everything into my MacBook to create a makeshift workstation. And I know for a lot of people that works, but for me it was kind of annoying setting it up all the time. And I mean, to be honest, as a lot of you know, while you can play some games on MacBooks, the good gaming is on old Windows machines. So long story long, I recently bought a Windows machine and sold my MacBook because I wanted to create a proper workstation and get myself a video card that can handle Cyberpunk, which I've been wanting to play for a while, among other games. And you can't do all that with Apple. So I built a Windows PC, and first, let me say, as someone who hasn't gone through the Windows installation process in quite a while, my gosh, it was brutal. It was so bad. How have they not fixed that? When you buy a Mac, you just sign in, put in your Wi-Fi info, and you're good to go. It's a nice experience. With Windows, no. I mean, if you know, you know. Now that my Windows machine is set up nicely though, I love it. But you know what I don't love? I just built my computer with an Intel 14700K CPU, and a month later, the news hits that Intel was basically just overclocking the crap and their stuff is just melting. I mean, not exactly that, but that. So I had to flash my BIOS and yada, yada, yada. How annoying would it be if you helped your friend or family member just get a new Intel Windows PC, then you have to help them flash the BIOS over the phone so their computer doesn't dissolve? Ugh. I mean, you just don't seem to get that crap with Apple. So do I regret switching back? I don't, and here's why. I wasn't fully invested in the Apple ecosystem. I was an Android Windows guy who got a taste of the Apple ecosystem, loved it, but then realized it was too expensive to fully submerge. Meaning, if I wanted the good monitor and workstation, while it would be nice for my video editing needs, it would be bloody expensive and still not let me play some of the latest games with my buds, and I hate that. Plus, to truly benefit from everything Apple has to offer, you need the phone, the watch, the headphones, and that stuff really adds up, especially when you already have non-Apple versions of that stuff that works decently. I know this is stupid, but if Apple had the ability to play AAA games with your friends, they would be unstoppable, but they don't. And it's that added flexibility with Windows that still makes it more well-rounded for me. So while I miss the incredible video editing performance of those media engines and a lot of other little things Apple does so well, and the battery life and portability power of my Mac's laptop, no, I do not regret switching back to Windows. Nowadays, they're both fairly similar, and since I'm pretty good at troubleshooting, I can handle Windows pretty well. For noobs and older people, I mean, Apple is just, it's so easy, right? The problem that I do have now though, is I spend a lot of time typing ideas and responding to comments, and I miss having the portability of a good laptop. Maybe you can help me out there. What should I do? I have an iPad 10th gen, so I was thinking of maybe just getting a case with a keyboard on it since I hate typing on device screens. Maybe that would be good enough. Or do I get a Snapdragon Windows machine as they seem to be maybe at the top in the moment in the Windows world? I think I saw AMD and Intel are launching some good ARM stuff soon. Maybe there'll be something there. I don't need the laptop to game. Part of me is considering a MacBook Air, but with the keyboard differences and the fact I'd be bouncing between it and my Windows desktop all day, it's too much of a pain switching back and forth. I can't do it, even though I'd love to have that hardware. I wonder if the iPad keyboard would be as frustrating for me as a Mac keyboard. The iPad cases I was looking at are Logitech, so maybe it'll be fine. And that might be the cheapest option. If you are ever curious about just how good Apple stuff is and are on the fence about getting one, let me tell you, even as a born and raised Windows guy, Apple stuff is awesome. If you don't game and you want a great laptop that will be your only computer, it's hard not to recommend them. The MacBook Air is just phenomenal as a daily driver for most people. Then, if you need more horsepower for video editing or whatever, the MacBook Pros, especially the Max chips, are just insane. You really can't beat them. And the next round of updates is right around the corner. So all of last year's stuff like the M3s, M2s, M1s, etc., there should be some really great deals on those soon. It's hard not to say Apple is better at what it does. It It doesn't do everything that Windows can, and I love having that added flexibility. Come on, Apple, get into the GPU world. I know you don't really swing that way, but I want to play Helldivers 2 and Rocket League and Cyberpunk on you without having to Jimmy rig it. If you build it, they will come. What do you think? Are you loyal one way or the other, or are you like me where you see the benefits to both ecosystems? If I had all the money in the world, I'd probably get all the Apple stuff like the watch, the headphones, iPads, etc. Then just have a gaming PC on the side. But I don't, so I can't. If you have a second and want to support the channel, please thumbs up the video. I would really appreciate it. And if you haven't subbed to the channel, I'd love to have you. Summer is over and the kids are back to school, so I'm excited to get back to the channel. In case you missed my last video, you can check that out here. Otherwise, here's what YouTube thinks you'd like to watch next. As always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time on the Sad Studio. Dad!